So there's this sound, the kind of knock that doesn't demand anything. It's not urgent, it's not loud. It's the knock of someone who almost didn't knock at all. Someone who stood outside your door for probably a full minute before their hand finally moved. I heard that knock at 11:14 on a Thursday night. I know the exact time because I looked at my phone when I heard it. Because who knocks on someone's door at 11 at night without texting first? I almost didn't answer it. I figured wrong apartment. Someone's drunk, someone's lost. But I got up. And when I opened that door, she was standing in the rain. Not the kind of rain you get caught in for 30 seconds running to your car. The kind that's been falling for hours. The kind that soaks through everything. Her hair was down and completely wet. Her jacket was dark with it. Her mascara had run, just slightly, just enough that she'd clearly been crying before the rain gave her a reason to. And she looked up at me with these eyes that He stops, collects himself. She whispered. Not because anyone was around to hear her, just because it was all the voice she had left. I had no one else to call. Her name is Carol. She's 46 years old, and she's my ex-girlfriend's mother.
She was shivering slightly when I opened the door, trying not to show it, but I could see it in her shoulders. She had her arms wrapped around herself, her hands gripping her own elbows. Her car keys were hanging from one hand. She'd driven here, in that rain, at 11 at night. For a second, neither of us said anything. I think I said her name. Carol? And she pressed her lips together and nodded like, yes, I know. I know how this looks. I know it's late. I know I'm soaking wet. I know this isn't something a person does without a reason. I'm sorry, she said. I didn't know where else to go. Her voice was completely steady when she said it. That's the thing about Carol. Even when everything else is falling apart, the voice stays steady. Like somewhere underneath all of it is a foundation that doesn't move. I stepped back from the door. Come in, I said. She hesitated for just a second, this half moment where I think she considered saying never mind, turning around, driving back into the rain like she'd never come. Then she stepped inside. Act 3, inside. I gave her a towel, a dry hoodie, mine, way too big for her. She disappeared into the bathroom to change, and I stood in my kitchen trying to think straight. Carol Bennett is in my apartment. It is 11:15 at night. She has been crying. I put the kettle on because I didn't know what else to do with my hands. When she came back out, she looked smaller somehow. Not weak, just human. The way people look when the thing they usually project has been rained on long enough. She sat down at my kitchen table, both hands wrapped around the mug I put in front of her, and she looked down into the tea for a long moment before she spoke. He left, she said. I sat down across from her. She'd been seeing someone, a man named David. 2 years together. She'd mentioned him once or twice in passing when Ashley and I were still together. She'd seemed happy, careful but happy, the way people are happy when they've been hurt before and they're trying something again anyway. Tonight, she said, he packed a bag. He said he'd been unhappy for a while. He said he should have said something sooner. She paused. I had no idea, she said. That's the part I keep coming back to. I had absolutely no idea. She wasn't crying now. She'd gone past that stage into something quieter and maybe harder. The stage where you're just trying to hold the shape of the thing in your mind long enough to understand it. I drove around for a while, she said. I couldn't go home. The house felt She stopped, shook her head slightly. "I know this is strange," she said. "You don't have to—" "Carol," I said. She looked up. "You're fine," I said. "You're not going anywhere tonight." Pause. Something moved across her face when I said that. Not relief exactly. More like she'd been holding the weight of the evening alone for so long that someone simply saying, "You're fine, stay," was more than she knew what to do with. She looked back down at her tea. "Thank you," she said quietly.
We talked. Not about David, not much, not yet. Just talked. The way you talk when it's late and the rain is still going and there's nowhere to be and nothing to perform. She asked me about work. I told her. She listened the way she always listened, like what you were saying actually mattered, like she was filing it somewhere important. I asked her about her patients. She'd told me once about a particular elderly man on her ward who made her laugh every shift, and I asked if he was still there. She smiled at that. Real smile. "Mr. Calloway," she said. "Yes, still there. Still telling the same 4 jokes in rotation." "Which one's your favorite?" She laughed. Actual quiet laugh. And told me. And for a few minutes we were just 2 people sitting in a kitchen at midnight while the rain fell outside, talking about an old man's jokes. Not about the thing that brought her here. Just talking. At some point I realized she'd stopped shivering. At some point the mug was empty and I'd refilled it without her asking. At some point the clock said 1 a.m. and neither of us had noticed. She caught it first, glanced at the clock on the kitchen wall and straightened slightly. "I should go," she said. "It's still raining and it's 1 a.m. She looked at the window, rain still steady against the glass. "I can't." "The couch is comfortable," I said. "I've slept on it, I know." "That's not appropriate," she said, but the way she said it, quietly, without conviction, told me she didn't entirely mean it. "What's not appropriate is you driving home alone at 1 a.m. after the night you've had." Beat. She looked at the window again, then back at me. "Okay," she said. "Just that. Okay." I woke up early and made coffee. She was already awake when I came out of my room, sitting on the couch, knees pulled up, my hoodie still on, looking out the window at the morning. The rain had stopped. Everything outside was clean and wet and quiet. She heard me and turned around, and for just a second, before she put the composure back on, I caught her expression unguarded. She looked rested. Not fixed. You don't fix a 2-year relationship in one night, but rested, like she'd actually slept, like she'd been somewhere safe enough to let go for a few hours. "Coffee's ready," I said. "You didn't have to—" "Carol." She stopped. Small smile. "Thank you. For last night. For all of it." I handed her a mug and sat down in the chair across from her. The morning was quiet between us. Not uncomfortable, the good kind of quiet, the kind that doesn't need filling. At some point, she said, "Can I ask you something?" "Yeah." She looked at her coffee for a moment. "Why did you let me in?" I looked at her. Pause. "What do you mean?" "It was almost midnight. I was soaking wet. I had no real reason to be at your door. We haven't spoken properly in months." She met my eyes. "Most people would have been kind about it and still sent me away." Long pause. I thought about how to answer that. And the honest answer, the one I almost said, was because it was you. Because somewhere in the back of my mind, in the 4 months since Ashley and I ended, you were the person I kept thinking had something good to say. And when I opened that door and saw you standing in the rain, looking like the whole night had finally caught up with you, I wasn't going to close it. Pause. But I didn't say all of that. I just said, because you knocked. Beat. She looked at me for a moment. Then she looked back at her coffee. And she was smiling. Not the careful smile, not the composed one, the real one. Soft pause. The rain had stopped, the morning was bright, and Carol Bennett was sitting in my kitchen wearing my hoodie, smiling into her coffee. Some doors you open without thinking, and then you spend a long time afterwards being glad that you did.